to the White House, Deputy Press Secretary Dana Perino on today's briefing.
This attack demonstrates that the terrorists and extremists will go to great lengths to undermine the Iraqi government, a government that is working to bring peace and stability for the people of Iraq, as opposed to the death and destruction the terrorists offer. Do I need to turn that off? Sorry. I'm going to take that again. I'm going to hold this up here for you, but we can't have it on. Okay. Let's try that again, just in case you need that. You heard it from the President this morning. The United States strongly condemns the attack on the Iraqi parliament against the democratically elected government of Iraq. This attack demonstrates that the terrorists and extremists will go to great lengths to disrupt the Iraqi government, one that is working for peace and stability in not only their own country, but in the region. The United States and Iraq cannot and will not let those terrorists succeed. We continue to monitor the situation. We are a part of the investigation to find out how it happened, and we will provide you as many updates as we can as the day continues.
Questions? Is there any concern that the loss of White House emails through outside email providers might involve a violation of law?
Well, I think that one of the things to step back and take a look at is that we're talking about a very small universe of emails. There are 1,700 employees that work for the Executive Office of the President. 1,000 of those are political employees like myself, and 22 of them have political email accounts. That's about 2% of the people. We have a policy in which any emails that are sent to somebody like myself at an EOP or a White House email address are archived and retained indefinitely, forever, so that we always have those. There are a small slice of people, that 2%, that has access to RNC-based emails based on the fact that at the beginning of the administration, we did what previous administrations had done for the past 25 years, which is if you want to avoid the criminal violations that exist with the Hatch Act, you make sure that you don't use any government equipment in order to do political business. There are gray areas. There are White House official business and there's political business, and to make sure that you don't cross that line, people either out of an abundance of caution or because they're of convenience were, as we went on through the administration, sometimes erring too much on the side of caution, and we have recognized that error. We have changed the White House policy, and we are talking to, in the process, Counsel's office is in the process of talking to political employees that have those email accounts to make sure that they are in compliance with both the Hatch Act and also making sure that they are preserving records for the Presidential Records Act.
You speak about an error, but I guess my question is there any concern that any law may have been broken?
I've not heard indication of that. I will say to you, though, that our counsel's office is in communication with the RNC General Counsel to make sure that we understand the full extent of the problem and making sure that they understand if any potential emails were lost, understanding how we might be able to use forensics in order to get those back and make sure that they're a part of the presidential records.
Isn't it a given that some were lost? And just that.
Well, I think that we don't have an idea on the universe of the number of emails that were lost. I went through the small slice of the universe of the emails that could potentially have been there, but truly we just don't know enough yet, and we will continue to update you as the review goes on and as we continue to talk with the RNC General Counsel's office to understand how those emails were archived or not. But one thing I will mention is that since 2004, for the political employees, those emails that were sent using those RNC-provided accounts for political employees have been archived. Yes.
On March 27th at this podium, you said that there were only a handful of White House aides who had these political RNC accounts. Now you're saying 22. It doesn't sound like a handful.
Well, I didn't know how many there were, and I think that, again, if you look at the number of people that work at the White House, almost 2,000, to have 22 people that, I mean, obviously, I grant you it's a very large handful, but it's still a relatively small number, and it's based on the people who have responsibilities, both White House official responsibilities, but that also have responsibilities in their job description to do political activities and to make sure that they didn't violate the Hatch Act. They had access to this other equipment.
The LA Times today quotes Scott Stangelo saying that there were about 50 aides.
I think that the 22 is current White House employees. We're looking, if you have 50 over the course of the administration.
At that March 27th briefing as well, you said that Fred Fielding, the White House counsel, was in touch with the RNC General Counsel to make sure that there was archiving taking place. And when pressed on it, you said that these were not archived just since Henry Waxman had asked you about it on the Hill, that they had been archived for a very long time. So
and I think that's going back to those few weeks ago. This is how we've developed a better understanding of how the RNC archived or did not archive certain emails. As I said, folks like Karl Rove emails using this equipment go back to being archived to 2004. The extent of how many people had these accounts, I didn't have it readily at my fingertips. I understood it to be a handful of people. I knew that it would be at least some, if not all, of the people that worked in the Office of Political Affairs.
Dana, this comes at a time where the Senate Judiciary Committee is already a little bit put out in terms of negotiating with the White House. And Senator Leahy said today, I don't know if it's more the dog ate my homework or we're back to the Rosemary Woods 18-minute gap. Are you concerned at all that this is going to further poison the well?
I would hope that it wouldn't, because what we have done has been forthcoming, honest, and to tell you that, I don't have all the answers right now, that there is a review that's ongoing. We're going to keep you updated. We are trying to understand, to the best of our ability, the universe of the emails that were potentially lost, and we are taking steps to make sure that we use the forensics that are available to retrieve any of those that are lost. And we've changed the policy so that we can make sure that this doesn't happen again.
It seems to be, at least Senator Leahy seems to be suggesting now, this is a credibility issue, that the explanations coming out of the White House don't pass some sort of sniff test for him.
I don't know how he could possibly say that when what we have done is endeavored to be very forthcoming and honest and talking about a policy that we've had. Now, it would be different if we hadn't said anything at all, but we didn't. We have come forward. I would prefer to have every single answer available to you because you have a lot of questions, and as Scott Stanzel said to you this morning, we don't have all of the answers yet, but we are working with the committees.
But what you said has shifted even over the last couple of weeks.
Give me an example of that.
50, 22, handful.
Look, I explained that. I think that you have to admit that when I said a handful, I was asked based on something that I didn't know.
Senator Leahy and the folks on the Judiciary Committee are hearing shifting explanations and wondering what the deal is.
Well, I would be happy to personally speak to them about my reasoning for using the word handful, but I think that the proof is that, or the truth is, we have 1,700 employees, 1,000 of them are political employees, and 22 of them currently have these accounts. The number of 50 is based on the number since the beginning of the administration. And that story hasn't changed. I will have to explain to them why I used the word handful, because it was based on my limited understanding of who all in the Political Affairs Office might have used them.
Right, well, let's take this idea that perhaps the emails could have disappeared, when I think the first thing anybody learns taking a job in America today is that emails never disappear. That's from a workplace computer.
Well, exactly. That is true at the White House for EOP accounts. I can't speak to any other organization or their policies, although we are trying to work with the RNC to understand their policy. As I said, anyone with those emails here, as I understand it, since 2004, those emails have been separated from an RNC policy, which is to automatically delete every 30 days deleted emails. So we have worked to try to be both in coordination and compliance with the Hatch Act as well as the Presidential Records Act.
Nobody's dog ate anybody's homework.
I don't believe so.
We're with what Scott Stanzel was saying this morning, where he was saying that staffers could so-called double delete.
No, that is true, and that's what we're trying to figure. When I say that we're trying to find if there were any potential emails that were not captured in that system, if someone had the capability to, if they wanted to clean out their inbox, delete a message, and then when your deleted box fills up and you decide that you want to clean that up, if you delete that one as well, where did those emails go? And that's exactly what we're trying to find out.
A couple minutes ago you were saying that for sure since 2004 it's been archived though. But I'm trying to understand, the double delete, can that override the archiving? I mean, when you said...
I think that it might be able to, and I can't speak to